everyone, my name's Beans, and I want to talk about something that I think about far too often, and that is the Ludwig boosting entrant number situation. What the hell do we call this? Recently, this has come back into light with EVO, where Rivals of Aether 2, a game that's published by Ludwig Studio, Off-Brand Games, is the fourth most entered game at EVO 2026. This means it'll have a spot on the main stage, which the last time this happened was EVO 2019 with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This should be huge and exciting news. Rivals of Aether 2 must have gotten a huge surge of popularity, and I'm no Steam charts poster, but surely the numbers will make oh. And it's only for PC too, no console or anything? This is, okay. These are all the players. That's crazy. Anyway, Ludwig recently gave out free EVO passes and codes to hundreds of players, whether because they got top 128 in an online tournament, they competed offline, learned how to count past 3, or I guess if you backed the game on Kickstarter before. This has led to a huge surge of entrants, and with that, a huge amount of people who entered Rivals solely just because it got them into EVO for free, thus boosting the entrance numbers without actually having entrants that play the game. But what if I told you Ludwig has done something similar as recently as last year for Supernova 2025? Let me paint a picture for you. EVO 2016 was the biggest Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament of all time. It was the culmination of everything Smash Bros. Hungrybox goes on a crazy losers run to upset Armada and rolls around on the floor after winning. It was great. There was passion and all that jazz. This was 3 years after the community came together to raise funds for Smash Bros. Melee to even be at EVO in the first place. 3 years after the community made a documentary to highlight why their scene was so great. It was peak. It was probably the best time to be a Super Smash Bros. Melee player. However, if you Google, what is the biggest Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament of all time, it is no longer EVO 2016. The results will tell you Supernova 2025. The reason the numbers were so big at Supernova 2025 was because Ludwig covered Melee entrants for everyone who signed up for free. No extra pay, hassle, or anything. So if you're a casual Smash player and just want to goof around for fun, there's no reason not to enter and play Melee. So the numbers got super inflated by people who just played Smash. And hey, if they played, that's a W. I'm glad. It's still the biggest tournament ever, but just for a moment, let's factor in the amount of people that didn't play and still entered. The people that didn't even show up. Now, how could I get those stats in the first place? Out of 2,000 something people, it would be absurd to try and figure that out by myself. I counted them manually, by hand. I went through each individual pool, one by one, and chalked up the amount of DQs in each wave of players. Pool D, 91 players. Pool E, 86. Pool F, 71. However, there were some games with no scores, so I couldn't get the exact count, so it was definitely even more than my total that I ended up with. But I counted the guaranteed DQs that I saw, and when you add it all up, out of an alleged 2,422 players, at least 741 DQ'd, or didn't play. That is over a 30% DQ rate. Just to put things in perspective here, that would make Supernova still in the top 5, mind you, all entrants were paid for, Melee tournaments of all time. It's estimated that EVO 2016 had a 20% DQ rate, so that put Supernova going from 2,422 to 1,681 players, and EVO going from 2,372 players to 1,800-ish, which, funny enough, is still bigger than Supernova. So in the way that Zane's first Bowser to GM on Melee Slippy Ranked was deemed a Mickey Mouse run because players would essentially show up and throw to him on purpose, boosting him up the ranks, in my mind, Supernova 2025 is a Mickey Mouse tournament, and Ludwig is pretty much doing the same thing to EVO, but at the detriment of more deserving games. Now, on to the present time. Ludwig is once again giving people a free pass and entry to whoever enters Rivals 2. He did it for people who got top 128 in his Rivals bracket, but he also gave them out in emails to whoever? I ended up with 2 of them because I filled out the form twice. I sold mine to a certain fighting game legend, and when I asked on the Rivals of Aether Reddit about selling the second one, the dev himself said, hey, don't do that. Well, too bad, Dan. Thanks for the money, Chudwig. Herein lies the problem. The people who are sold or given these codes enter Rivals because that's the only way you can get a discount for the $300 EVO Pass. So, once again, there's going to be a ton of DQs. If he wanted to support his game, giving out passes to players interested in going is one thing, or doing that as well as supplying a big pop bonus for the people entering. But this man is so obsessed with upping the numbers that he's willing to fill a bracket with ghosts, essentially, just to look good on paper. And this all rubs me the wrong way because it's not real. In a world where we're desperately lacking authenticity because people are afraid of getting criticized or whatever, we've got AI art, inflated brackets, and it's probably to look good to marketing or whatever. I don't know. I think I'm making this video because I kind of want to know. If you want to support your scene, send the players that want to go instead of getting people who don't give a fuck and will just DQ to boost the player entries and then steal an EVO spot from more deserving video games. Because it's not just outplacing Strive or anyone else, it's knocking out a game that could have also been on the main stage that has a community that will actually be there for it. It really bums me out for some reason because people take things at face value. They assume that what they see before them is genuine because a lot of people are either good or too lazy to do research, right? But you are lying to people's faces. You are lying to people's faces by saying this is the most entered Rivals of Aether 2 bracket of all time. You should be saying this is the most DQ'd Rivals of Aether bracket of all time. And I don't like being a Steam Charts poster, but like, come on, you're telling me this game has more genuine entrants than this game? That'd be like if I hosted a Nen Impact tournament and made 1,000 fake emails just to say I had the biggest Nen Impact bracket. Though for Nen Impact, you know, I could get away with like 20, but I digress. Rivals 2 fumbled its first impression gauntlet with people like Sajam trying it, but the game lacked a tutorial, so it was hard to get into. It made me, someone who backed the Kickstarter and played the game for 20 hours, I just think it sucks, straight up. Like, floor hugging and all that stuff, and everyone holding down, never approaching, it's cringe. Anyway, I thought it sucked compared to the first one, but I thought, give it a couple years, it'll probably get better over time. And it's kind of still mostly the same if I'm being completely honest, but I digress. To be real, I don't have an end cap for this video. I don't have a way to end this, because I think the question I have is something that I myself can't answer. I just want to know why. Ludwig, if you watch this, why? Why do you want to take away from other communities by inauthentically boosting your entrant numbers for a game that isn't as alive as you're trying to make it seem? I'm not going to dog on the Rivals community that does exist. I'm glad they're passionate about their game. I think communities that uplift their game, no matter how niche, are so based. They usually have the coolest people. But I guess I just wish Ludwig wasn't so involved, so anything involving Rivals of Aether 2 would be authentic, genuine, or, dare I say, real. But maybe that's just me. If you like the ramble, subscribe, I guess. I don't normally make negative content, but you know, I'm a human being. I got opinions and feelings and stuff, and hopefully my insight was helpful in some way. And please, have a nice day, okay? Bye-bye.